Get off my lawn, punk. That is the topic of tonight's Byline. I don't know about you, but I've been fighting with weeds all summer. Actually, for the last 2 summers. We bought a new house in the winter of 2012. Well, a new house to us is, used house. But it was beautiful inside, and then the snow melted, and the yard was shown to be taken over with weeds, which is a problem. Now, I tried all kinds of products. I tried all kinds of methods. I pulled them by hand, tried everything I could to get rid of them. Still can't. Now, I'm not looking for a perfect weed-free lawn, but I'd like to get the upper hand here. A few years ago, we would have been able to use Weed and Feed, but I live in Ottawa, Ontario, and like most of the country, they banned most products that actually take care of weeds. They said we shouldn't use pesticides for cosmetic reasons. Now, entire neighborhoods have lawns made of dandelions and nettles and more crab than real grass. I don't want to use this stuff for cosmetic uses. I want to deal with an infestation. I can't, and chances are you can't either, because across the country, provincial governments have banned us from using products on our own property, products that Health Canada says are safe. Quebec led the way when all this started. La Belle Province, well, they claimed that using 2,4-D, the active ingredient in many pesticides, caused cancer, and it needed to be banned. They had evidence from industry claiming otherwise. They had evidence from their own bureaucrats saying, actually, it doesn't cause cancer. And they had evidence from Health Canada that their claims were all wrong. Didn't matter. They banned it anyway. Cities across the country followed Quebec's lead, then provinces. At hearing after hearing, there were claims that this needed to be banned because you're going to get cancer. Everyone's going to get cancer if you don't do it. And any claims to the contrary were ridiculed. In most of the country, you can't use a simple Weed and Feed product on your lawn because it was banned for causing cancer. Except that it doesn't. Not when properly used. In fact, 2 years ago, the government of Quebec was forced to apologize to Dow Chemical and essentially admit their initial ban and all those that followed was based on a faulty premise. A lie, if you will. As part of the settlement, Quebec acknowledged this. The government of Quebec agrees that products containing 2,4-D do not pose an unacceptable risk to human health or the environment, provided that the instructions on their label are followed, as concluded by Health Canada's Pest Management Regulatory Agency in its May 16, 2008 decision on the reevaluation of 2,4-D. Yet despite this admission that the ban was not based on science or the truth, the Quebec ban and all the other bans across the country remain in place. I thought these were the people that cared about science. They're all about the science. Isn't that what they tell us when we're told that we've got to join the latest UN climate change agreement that spends more time talking about transferring money from rich countries to poor countries than it actually does talking about science? But like the UN climate change thing, this was never about the science. It was always about feeling, about, doing things that felt good. Back when these bans were being debated and I sat through hearings and court cases for 3 cities and 2 provinces, well, back then I didn't use Weed and Feed or any other 2,4-D product. And the reasons were simple. I didn't need it for a start. The lawns at the places I lived were mostly grass with some weeds, and that's something most of us can live with. And if not, you can pull them out. And I also had young kids crawling around back then, so I didn't put down much of anything. I didn't want to put something down and then have to keep them off the lawn. Fast forward 10 years and my kids don't crawl anymore, and as for my lawn, it's hard to find a lawn anywhere that isn't infested with weeds unless you're on a golf course. See, while you and I are banned from using this product, golf courses, well, they're not banned, and neither are farms. And guess what? They were always the biggest user of the product. Always were, always will be. You and I in our homes, we've always been small users. But politicians and bureaucrats, they love nothing more than to tell us how to live our lives. One last story that relates to government control. My father-in-law lives in Lennoxville, Quebec, now part of Sherbrooke. He was telling me that they've gone so far in trying to make sure that no one uses this stuff that if they think your lawn looks too good, city workers will actually take a sample from near the road. They'll pull a sample from your lawn by the sidewalk to see if you're using illegal Weed and Feed brought in from the States. They really do think that we're tenants on our own land. We're not, and we should never stop reminding them who the boss is. And that's the Byline.
So you think that this one is the organic apple?
Yes. So what's this?
I think this is organic right here.
Was it something fresh, something flavorful?
Yeah, it just tasted crispier.
It tastes crispier.
Yeah. I'm wrong, right?
You're wrong.
It actually tastes more like a banana, if that makes any sense.
Like more pure.
Really? The exact same banana?
This is the exact same banana I just cut
so
5
weird
minutes
to me.
ago.
I don't know. I still would just go for organic. I just go for organic.
People going for organic for all the wrong reasons. That was from Penn and Teller show a while back where they cut the same banana in half and people kept saying they liked the one labeled organic better. Well, Misha Popov is the author of Is It Organic? Joins us from his home in British Columbia. Misha, you're not surprised by that, are you? The people saying, I prefer the organic side when it's the same banana?
Yeah, not in the least, Brian. It's a big psychological game. Interestingly, on rare occasions, organic food can be better, but those occasions are so rare because the system of certification is just a complete free-for-all. You just fill out paperwork and basically swear that you're organic and that you're not using, synthetic pesticides, as you were talking about. And then there you go. You're organic. Anywhere in the world, you can become certified under Canadian standards to sell into Canada or into the United States for that matter, just by filling out paperwork.
All right. So the reason that I wanted to bring you on because you're not anti-organic, and neither am I. My wife buys some things organic, some things not. Quite often, if she's buying it organic, it's because it's the same price. Or actually, at the store near our house, sometimes it's even cheaper. That's rare, but it happens. Anyway, so I'm not anti-organic, and neither are you, but a lot of people swear blindly by it. But there is a major recall going on right now that's hitting Canada and the United States that has to do with organic berries. And we're always told, well, it's healthier and there's no problem with it. What's the recall all about? And what's the problem that it's causing?
Well, it's Costco certified organic berry mix, which contains pomegranate seeds from Turkey. So as I just said, you can be certified to Canadian or American standards anywhere in the world. And in this case, it was a Turkish pomegranate farm. And it turns out there's hepatitis in those pomegranate seeds. So yes, there's a huge recall, almost 250,000 3-pound bags of this certified organic berry mix. Now, the big cover-up is that it probably comes from fecal contamination, but the defenders of the organic industry are trying to pretend, well, don't worry, it was probably just improper hand washing. So, Brian, think about it. So someone who didn't wash his hands on the production line somehow infected 250,000 3-pound bags of certified organic berry mix.
That doesn't seem right. That's an awful lot of one person not washing their hands properly, infecting that much. There's got to be something else going on. Look, I'm not blaming Costco here. We shop there and we'll continue to do. This particular mix, though, not sold where I am, but it is sold where you are in BC. It's sold in Alberta and throughout the western U.S. Hepatitis A, it's not as bad as hepatitis C, but it's still serious.
Yeah, and don't let the lack of seriousness palliate you at all, Brian, because it's how it got there. If it was feces, either human feces, which shouldn't be going anywhere near any crop, let alone an organic crop, or just improperly composted animal manure, that same feces could have also given rise to hepatitis B or C, which are much more serious, or E. coli, which can kill you, or salmonella.
But there was last year or the year before, there was a huge, I think it was a Sprouts recall. Again, organic, out of Europe, organic product but this was with E. coli, and it was a pile of manure that wasn't handled properly. So organic doesn't always mean better, doesn't always mean healthier. Is that the bottom line here?
Unfortunately, it is totally the bottom line. And if the authorities would just test, then this could be prevented. But as I said earlier, it's just paperwork. You swear on paper that you're following the rules. And the rules, besides saying you can't use Roundup and 2,4-D, the rules say when you're composting, you must be very careful and reach a certain temperature and then turn the pile. This is how you do what's called complete composting. And then all the pathogens are killed in your compost. And again, all you have to do is swear on paper that that's how you're composting, and there you go, Bob's your uncle. No testing.
No testing, but big fees for this, because we're almost out of time, but that's one of the things I've heard is that people that feel like they're helping the small farmer with the certified organic, certified fair trade, quite often what they're helping are wealthy organizations here that sell the certifications, and the farmers have to pay through the nose for it.
Well, exactly. And Brian, if we could just put it in a nutshell, Canadian farmers fill a minority share of the $3 billion Canadian market for organic food. You'd be lucky if Canadian farmers are maybe filling a third of it, maybe $1 billion. The other $2 billion comes from countries like Turkey, where we see this hepatitis outbreak, in China, Mexico, Brazil, all based on paperwork. And yes, Brian, the private certifiers who work on behalf of the government of Canada, because it's all privatized, which I'm actually in favor of. But these private certifiers, they charge an arm and a leg for this paper-based organic certification, and it doesn't protect us.
I'm not trusting anything that says organic from China, but I wouldn't trust anything that wasn't organic from China anyway. Misha, good talking to you again. We'll chat again soon.
Have a great day.
Drop me a line on what you think about organic food or about the lawn care ban. It's easy to get hold of me. Byline@sunmedia.ca. Stick around.